Oh, look at that.
This was the one that was like, that's just kind of like, I don't understand. Like, it's so violent.
Why
Like,
did you
he's
kill
just,
him?
he's
He's
just
dancing for you.
Chilling. Look at the
action.
arc that thing has on it.
Oh, it's like, Puh.
What's weirding me out though is they're putting 3 rounds in the bottom barrel. To me, that looks more like the China Lake gun, just from the way he was loading it, than just a double barrel bloop gun. This guy, Jesus, for how cartoonish it is, this is great. Look at his like heads rolling down the hill.
Welcome back, everybody, to another wacky episode of Total Recoil. You like that?
Yeah, that was great. Well, this is going to get wacky.
It's going to get pretty wacky. I'm your host, Israel Wright. It's great to be back with you. Former Green Beret with me again is the wonderful, the amazing, the very handsome Paul Meixner.
Oh, thanks, man. Hey, folks, I'm Paul Meixner. I'm a former U.S. Army infantryman. Now work as a weapons and tactics instructor both in and outside of the film industry.
Today, folks, we're going to be looking at some footage from Team Fortress, the wacky, cartoony, action multiplayer competition game. It's gonna be awesome.
You know how you have such a funny joke to tell? You start laughing before you tell the joke?
You ruin your own joke.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, we're so ready for this. The backscatter.
So to start us out with like a great note, you know what I think of when I see this? And because it's supposed to be a shotgun, but I hear the backscatter, I just think of like, you know, you go out drinking and then, you know, you have your like drunk food afterward, and in the morning, you know, you're not feeling well.
The backscatter? Revenge of the backscatter?
Just shotgun blast that. Oh, sorry. I just love everything about this. This kind of reminds me of like Lego guns.
Lego guns.
You know, it does look very like real and worn in, but also goofy. Yeah. Not like goofy like a couple of the guns from the Apex series. Like we're just like, wow, this is ridiculous, you know? But just goofy, like cartoonish.
No, don't do it, no! I like how the guy was like, no!
Definitely have that 1887 Winchester. So Winchester had a close relationship. He designed guns for a lot of different companies, but was really working closely with Winchester, and Winchester's known for their lever action rifles because everybody recognized them. And so the corporate people were like, we're known for lever guns, let's make a lever shotgun. And so they made one, and it was the 1887 Winchester, and one of its most famous appearances was in Terminator 2. The sawed off, chopped down. With a big loop on any lever gun, it allows you to flip it. And so that one had a big loop on it. What's weird about this is it's got like an old like 20s, 30s German machine gun magazine attached to the top of it. So with those, with many drum magazines, the spring tension is so tight that you can't just push the rounds in, so you have to like twist it, and often there'll be like a stop or something. So you twist it up and you load the rounds in, and then you release it, and the spring
So there's a practical, that comes from a practical thing.
Yeah. And so this is kind of maybe foreseeable, like this could be realistic.
Yeah, they're starting us off easy, and then slowly we'll descend into madness.
This looks like a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
Making distance shots with something without a buttstock on it is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
So, and you got to deal with recoil and everything, but I mean, this looks like a lot of fun. And now I'm starting to see why everybody loves this game so much.
Oh, it just looks like zany, non-stop action.
You know, there's blood, which it's definitely contrasting. Like, it's still silly enough that you're not gonna have any flashbacks.
Now, let us know in the comments, is this typically short range? It looks like there's not a lot of places to be long range. It looks like everything's up close and personal when it comes to the action of this game, you know? Yeah, never played Team Fortress, so.
Nope, but it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like it was fun.
Like a ton of fun.
The Shortstop.
The Shortstop.
Find another poo reference.
Give me some time.
Don't. I don't want to open that door. This actually looks kind of familiar. We've seen this in like old Western movies and stuff like that.
Well, so I think the most famous appearance was at the end of Bad Boys, which at the end he pulls this out right when like Will Smith's character's like, all right, I'll let him live or whatever. And then he sees like the glint of the reflection and turns around and smokes him with his like cig. It's a type of Derringer. It's a 357 Derringer. I don't know what this is, but this is modeled after it.
Yeah,
it's a 4-barrel little holdout pistol.
Do you fire them all at one time, or can you fire multiple rounds?
I think you fire each one. No, because firing it all at once is called volley fire. They're little holdout guns. They're little concealed carry guys. They're, you know, I wouldn't want to get into a firefight with one.
It's always the lady in the saloon in the Old West that has one like in her garter belt, you know?
Which is ironic because like they recoil quite a bit, especially like the bigger the caliber. Yeah, like SIG's now got their P365 and a bunch of different variants. And they do these micro single stack 9mm where they take up less space than this thing does.
Wow.
It seems like a terrible gun to have in this fight.
Yeah, I would want, I feel like for something like Team Fortress, I want the bigger the better.
Totally pick the backscatter first. I just love saying backscatter.
The backscatter. You're going to be on that backscatter, man. Slapping the rounds,
there's
throwing
a
them
lot
out
of
and then
muzzle.
slapping them in.
It's a pretty big muzzle blast. You know, you can see like the sparks or whatever, the unburnt powder. That's a really cool touch. You know, I've got a 2-inch barrel 357, and you can see it, you know, shoot out sparks.
You always wonder what they're going to include when it comes to like a cartoony game like this. It's like, well, what amount of realism do you want to include anyway?
I'm just shocked at how red the blood is in this. Everything else is cartoony, and then it's just like Quentin Tarantino.
So much blood.
Right, the Beggar's Bazooka. Okay, yeah, you say it looks like a light bulb at the end. It does.
I
mean, that's got to be a funnel. Oh, I bet you that is a funnel.
Well, it's for backblast, it looks like.
Backblast.
You know.
Which, when they say backblast area clear, they mean it.
Oh, yeah.
They mean it.
We've all seen True Lies in the van and the Florida Keys on the freeway.
With the RPG.
He's the only guy that ever actually used backblast in a movie, you know.
You can make rocket launchers, and I got to give a shout out to my buddy Wild Arms Research, and he's making all these old school handmade anti-tank weapons and anti-aircraft weapons.
Handmade?
Yeah. So I think the one he's working on now, it shoots rockets, and it looks like a Gatling gun. It's not, but it has multiple rockets in a circle. So front loading. Oh,
I
my
love that
goodness,
they're
he's
shoving it
loading
in
a
there.
bunch in
Just
there.
shove it in there. Do we have any real world equivalent of a full auto or semi-auto rocket launcher? I know we got the Mark 19 grenade launcher.
Well, grenade launcher, yeah, and there was the China Lake grenade launcher, which we're definitely going to talk about in another video. But I don't know of any rocket launchers where you load them in sequence like that. Usually rockets will be side by side, because when a rocket goes, it's burning back, and you wouldn't want to maybe burn an explosive warhead that's sitting behind another rocket, right? Now, I remember reading in Popular Science years ago, they were making these volley fire guns that had all these bullets lined up, and it was electronically set off. And so like it would just be a stream or a wall of bullets. It sounds terrifying. So there is that, but again, I don't know about necessarily the rocket. The bullet is actually the part that launches out of the cartridge. A bullet can handle some heat, you know what I mean? So I don't think, you know, you could get that down. This, where you load several rockets in front of each other, they just said maybe it drops into a magazine, although we didn't.
I didn't see any magazine.
Yeah, it looked like they just took a
Ninja
Ninja Turtles sewer pipe.
Yeah,
and
like marshmallows in your mouth can just get in there.
Heavy duty zip ties on like a broom handle.
I don't. In this in Team Fortress, it looks like that's it. That's the weapon that you want. No, I mean, like, you don't want anything else. You just want the grenade, the rocket launcher, man.
Okay.
Because that guy was the people with body parts exploding all over the place. I mean, I feel like that is the Team Fortress experience.
What's the age range of this video game? Like,
I'm probably 4 or 5. You know, 4 or 5 to 90. I feel like anybody could enjoy this game.
Okay.
Panic attack, yeah, baby.
This would give me a panic attack.
Looks like it's a shotgun pump action, but it's got like the Tommy gun kind of magazine.
What's weird is it's up front, so you can convert a lot of pump shotguns to be magazine fed. Which, if you can fit a box magazine, you can fit a drum magazine.
Yeah, but to be that far forward, do you think that there's any practicality to that?
Nope. I think it looks cool in the video game, or looks dumb.
That poor guy, man.
Like,
just being resurrected, just to be killed again.
Oh, hey. You're so silly. Think about it, the amount of weight, just for practicality alone, the amount of weight you're putting up front
on the front.
And having to hold that. And what is that, shotgun rounds are heavy. But we got the shoulder thing that goes up on the front, the barrel shroud, that looks pretty cool.
Good rate of fire, I love a shotgun.
Okay, how effective is it in this game? It seems pretty
You got me, man. It looks like this person's using it very effectively.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Like the shotgun and the rocket launcher, to me, seem to be about the same. If you're not worried about like explosion, like getting caught in your own explosion, like I just go right for the rocket launcher.
I mean, this guy keeps going back and forth between the shotgun and rocket launcher, so it seems like this must be a very close-in map. So even for a practical standpoint, not just the weight, but like pumping the gun, like why would you put rounds in back there? It goes all the way down the tube and then starts going. It just seems overcomplicated. Now I get it. This isn't a real-life game, but I'm supposed to comment on that sort of thing. It would be more believable if the drum magazine was behind the pump. Other than that, it looks really cool.
Maybe they just wanted something flashy,
So is this
the Loch-n-Load. Oh, it's like a double barrel M79 or something.
Yeah. Have you ever fired the bloop gun?
The M79.
The M79? Yeah,
I have, yep.
Yeah,
Couple
cool.
times, yep.
They're actually still fairly practical now. I mean, now they make some more compact grenade launchers, but it was still pretty good for a while.
Now we are firmly in Doom territory with this one, man.
Look at the arc that thing has on it.
Oh, it's like.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I guess you don't. I guess in Team Fortress
maybe it's
you don't
special rounds that like bounce and they're like.
What the heck is that guy doing?
don't know. He didn't like his dancing.
Something out of a bad
apparently.
dream.
Like, that is terrible dancing. You need to.
His arms were like bent backwards.
So this looks super real. Yep, yeah, the leaf set up front for ranging. What's weirding me out though is they're putting 3 rounds in the bottom barrel. So it's kind of like they have this combination of like a bloop gun and the China Lake grenade launcher, which that's a fascinating firearm. So it was made in-house. I think in 2007 there was two companies that made a few more of them. And one of them had like a collapsible buttstock, like on an M4 or whatever. The other one was old school. But yeah, look up the China Lake grenade launcher. There's no designation, there's no M whatever. It's really cool, and that's what this reminds me most of, especially when you're loading more rounds. So the original one held 3 in the tube and then 1 in the chamber.
Okay.
And they were initially used for initiating ambushes. I think there's only 5 still in existence now, the originals, and 4 of them are in like U.S. military museums, and 1 is in a foreign museum. But they're super cool, and that's, to me, that looks more like the China Lake gun, just from the way he was loading it, than just a double barrel bloop gun, which that would be cool too. You know, you could totally do that, but just then put 1 in each and then close it. I don't know. How do you pronounce this?
It's called the Tomislav. You have to put the hands right here with the Italian Russian. Yes.
My best friend's name is Tom. Tom is love.
Tomislav,
Really
maybe Slavic.
angry guy.
Tomislav.
So is this a drum or a
It's
helica
like,
mag?
this is like
What-
some
what do
under
we
the
got
arm,
going on?
like Gatling gun kind of thing.
I don't think this is a chain gun. I think this is a modified Thompson submachine gun. Heavily modified.
Just
It
a
looks-
huge old barrel there at the bottom.
Well, yeah, it expanded.
like a
Like the
leaf
proportions are off a little bit. Somebody got mad at me in another video where, you know, it was labeled for us AK-47. Like, can't you tell from the magazine angle it's AK? Like, I know what an AK-74 is, but like it's a video game and they don't always get their proportions right. So
Oh, internet.
I can't even tell from the proportions, but they kind of have that like minigun style, you know, hip fire. I think like didn't Aliens have something like that going on?
Like the smart gun?
Yeah. So it's got that on there, which is not a real practical purpose for something like this, but maybe that's just a giant magazine. 'Cause if it's
Well, I mean,
shooting
this looks a lot. I
45,
mean, this looks like old Painless from Predator. you
Okay,
know?
yeah.
Well, that was an actual minigun. You know?
Right, which would
Gatling
you'd
gun.
have like a couple seconds of fire.
Yeah,
and
right, then you're done.
Good luck with the batteries back then. I mean, it was Jesse Ventura though, so. I mean, that was cool. So it looked like a heavily chopped out and modified Thompson submachine gun that was probably shooting an even bigger bullet. That magazine was like comically huge. You'd have to be, you know, pretty jacked to carry that thing. But it also looked like a lot of fun. And I understand this is a silly game, and I think that fit the description of silly and fun.
Now wait a minute. The Widowmaker. Couldn't that technically be literally any weapon? You know what?
Unless,
Just
like,
forget it.
usually the Widowmaker, though, refers to the person using it. So maybe this is a
Widowmaker.
super unrelative gun. That
Yeah,
blows
maybe,
up,
yeah, you're
right?
gonna get killed because it's not a good weapon.
Yeah.
She's gonna be a widow.
Okay, this is fascinating.
Look like a rotating kind of
Yeah.
underneath there.
So there's a couple shotguns like that.
The design looks a little more modern.
Yeah.
You know?
The forward magazine reminds me of is an SRM Arms. I might be screwing that up, but a 1208 shotgun. And it's really interesting. Single barrel shotgun, and it has 4 tubes. It has 4 tubes, so you could load different ammunition. And I think from the factory it comes with 2 different bolts.
Huh.
One for less than lethal rounds and one for lethal rounds. Because generally, like beanbag rounds and CS gas rounds, they don't have as much recoil.
Okay.
So they won't cycle as much. I believe it's a semi-auto shotgun. When you're done with one tube, you just rotate it. You can rotate it either way. And what's cool is like you can run double odd buck, you can run number 4, and you can run slug. So like whatever you're dealing with, okay, you're in a room, you're gonna use number 4 shot, you know? You can do buckshot, or you just got somebody on a rooftop, we'll switch it to a rifled slug.
And you can switch it on the fly, just that easy.
Yep. And so that's what it looks like it's based off of. Now the buttstock looks a little bit different. This looks a lot more streamlined than the 1208. And I've heard good things about it. I haven't fired one yet. I've heard really good things about it. Some people have suggested that, you know, you could use less than lethal and then lethal. And that's a terrible idea because you would never want to make that mistake and not be on the right one.
Right.
Well, plus, like, what's nice is it comes with 2 different bolts from the factory. Now, of course, this one is different, but that looked cool. It looked believable. The magazine was a little different, like I said. In the 1208, it's literally 4 tubes, and then I think you can pull the tube out and put a new one in. Yeah, it looked cool. It looked fun. The Hitman's Hitmaker. See, I feel like that's like no, it's a terrible joke. I'm not gonna.
You can make poo jokes out of all these.
not-
Okay?
well,
Can we
I-
just- can we
well,
just
you
admit
went
that
poo,
from
and now
the
they're
beginning?
like-
You're the poo guy. You're the poo guy.
I was not even going there at all, but now that you said it, I can definitely. So like,
See, I knew it. I knew it was.
when I
in
was
there
working at Pizza Hut.
somewhere.
I was
No.
get a personal pan pizza, and the managers punked me, and they put like 7 packets of crushed red pepper That was the first time in my life that like it burned going in and coming out.
That's great.
If you call that a heat maker.
That's in my memory forever.
This guy, Jesus, for how cartoonish it is. This is great. Look at his like heads rolling down the hill. Okay, so I heard that this is based off one of my favorite sniper rifles of all time is the Walther WA-2000. And one of the reasons it's my favorite is because it's in my favorite James Bond movie of all time, which there's a lot of great James Bond movies, but at the top of my list will always be Timothy Dalton in Living Daylights. He has it in the beginning, he's supposed to take out this Russian sniper, but he doesn't because he can just tell that she's a good person, or it could be because she's hot. But no, it's a cool gun, and German police units used them for a while, but they were just so expensive. They were like 9,000 to like 20,000. They were not so much battle rifles, but police. You know, you couldn't beat on it. You couldn't beat on it like a PSG-1 or like a Dragunov.
I love the chonky switch there underneath the scope there, you know. Maybe the laser, maybe the light or something like that?
No, I mean, maybe it's like, that looks like an old school night vision scope. So maybe that just turns it on. Although it doesn't look like a night vision scope through there, so. I mean, it looks cool. It looks like, you know, you can really use the scope, you can really use the optic on it. It looks like it's pretty quick to like zoom in.
I was wrong when I said that maybe there was no place for sniping in this game, but it looks like there is. The Cleaner's Carbine.
Cleaner's Carbine. So, my favorite movie of all time, Leon, he's known as a cleaner. Yeah, which is a take, I think, from La Femme Nikita, an earlier Luc Besson film that Jean Reno plays a cleaner where he's a hitman. But yeah, he's called a cleaner, and so this is a Cleaner's Carbine. Definitely something there, the Kimmel AP9, which the Kimmel AP9 took advantage of the popularity of the Tech 9, which Big Trouble in Little China, Kurt Russell's waving the Tech 9 around. Right. The Tech 9 started, I believe, as a machine pistol, and it never really picked up any contracts, and so they changed it from open bolt. Actually, I think you used to be able to buy it in the open bolt. Open bolts are easier to convert.
Oh, look at that.
This was the one that was like, that's just kind of like, I don't understand. Like, it's so violent.
Why did you kill him? He's just dancing for you.
Chilling. But yeah, so this Tech 9 came out, and originally, I believe, you could even buy it in semi-auto with open bolt, but it's so easy to convert to full auto that then they had to re-engineer it and make it a closed bolt gun. You know, it was used in a lot of crime. It was pretty cheap. It wasn't the most reliable. And then this Kimmel AP9 came out to take advantage of it. I think it was a little more reliable, but it looked the same, and a lot of people confuse them. What's missing off of here, which is famous on those two firearms, is the barrel shroud that has the holes in it that makes it look extra sexy and cool. This to me looks something like a World War II mass-produced, get a machine pistol or machine gun out there really quick, like stamped metal. Yeah, it looks cool. I like the sights on it. The sights are cool. You got a smaller, but you know, still for close in peep aperture in the rear. You
Anything with a high rate of fire. Yep. You know, I'm a fan of.
So, and I understand like what you're saying, like the little MP5 is an MP5K, the little PDW, kind of looks a little bit like that, but it looks even smaller than that. That's definitely a machine pistol.
The Ambassador.
All right.
Oh, that's so intricate. I love it. Oh, little lady there on the barrel.
This looks like two different guns to me. So this looks like a Dan Wesson came out with a 357, and the nomenclatures, I'm having a hard time remembering it, but it had that big fat barrel in front, the weighted barrel. It looked really cool. So what this barrel is going to do is actually help with recoil.
Because it's going to weight it down, so it's not going to knock up so much.
And I believe Taurus, I think Taurus is a Brazilian manufacturer. Questionable quality semi-autos, but usually have pretty good revolvers, and they have a big revolver like this too. I don't know if it's called the Raging Bull or something. Can we play that again? Can we play that? I just want to hear him screaming. I love it.
Is that a riding crop he's got there?
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, so he's running it double action. Double action means the trigger does two things. Single action means the trigger does one thing. So I'm not actually seeing the hammer cock back at all. But with a double action,
look like there's much animation with the hammer.
No, and maybe that's, you know, a game choice or whatever to keep it simple. I mean, a lot of things are pretty simple in here. Yeah, double action means that when you pull the trigger, it's generally going to be a harder trigger pull than single action. That's both for, you know, automatic pistols, and by auto I mean semi and fully, either or whatever. Then double action. Double action means, at least in a revolver, you're not only cocking the hammer with that trigger pull and then releasing it, but you're turning the cylinder to line up the next round. So it's a bit more difficult trigger pull. You don't see him cocking the hammer back. The real version that this is modified off of that Dan Wesson pistol does both, single action or double. And when you cock the hammer back on a double action revolver, that trigger moves back quite a bit, and it leads for much more accurate shots, and much lighter trigger pull.
Doesn't seem like this ambassador would be a good choice against all the other ones.
No, I think I'd like that weird lever action shotgun at the beginning. I wonder if like it has really powerful rounds, and that's
maybe
why.
yeah. That usually when you see a gun like this in a game, it's because they want to give you fewer rounds, but the rounds are more powerful.
And I like it when they find that balance, because some games don't have that balance where it's like, what's the point of this? This is dumb. It's got to be like accurate enough and pull up a shot just enough, and then it's got to be one shot, one kill almost every time.
Something like
to be worth experimenting.
Yeah,
with,
something similar like you get the Magnum in Resident Evil or like the Wingman in Apex Legends. It seems like that's what they're going for. All right, here it comes.
Backscatter.
Thank you, Team Fortress 2, for introducing us to the concept of the backscatter.
Please, in the comments, let us know your best backscatter story.
No, do not let us know your best backscatter story. Don't do that. What was your favorite weapon?
I mean, for multiple reasons, the backscatter was great. I'm a big fan of the 1887 Winchester, even though it's not the most practical shotgun. It's just cool. It's a neat niche piece of history, and I like that they have this like German anti-aircraft gun magazine on it. It's kind of and it looked cool. It looked really cool. What about you, man?
Yeah, I was a fan of the smart gun style one, the Thompson with the Uber
big
barrel.
Drum magazine.
Yeah, the big drum magazine. Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that they're based in reality, but they're clearly cartoonish. Sure. Too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like a lot of fun to me.
They make killing hilarious. Folks, if you like this video, go ahead and check out Gamology's Facebook and YouTube page, and be on the lookout for Shift Fire. It's a brand new channel featuring me and Cameron Fath from the Gamology videos. It's going to be awesome. We're going to explore all things military culture. It's going to be a good time. Also, you can check out the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, or you can go to twitch.tv/myhappyself. Paul, where can people get a hold of you?
Hey folks, if you want to follow my shenanigans, you can get a hold of me or follow me at MAV11B, MAV11B on Instagram. I also just started a podcast called Thunderpunk Radio, which should be available on most streaming and social media platforms.
We'll see you on the next one, team. Take care, Gamologist.
Laters. But yeah, the bad guy, who was a great bad guy, he's a French actor, I believe. I forget his. No, he's not. God darn it! Comment in the comments that guy's name, because he just killed it in that movie. I should pull him up on IMDb.